The Johnsky is a YouTube channel run by and run for people over the age of 13. People under the age of 13 should click off of this video right now, or watch with a parent or guardian. Viewer discretion is advised.
You don't scare me!
Milt is freaking today, militiamen. My name is King Prime, and welcome back to another video here on the YouTube channel. Today, we are finally going to be returning to form, and we are going to be taking a look at a brand new Star Wars The Vintage Collection action figure. That being the Walmart exclusive Star Wars The Vintage Collection Return of the Jedi Imperial Gunner, or anti-aircraft Death Star Gunner, whatever you want to call him. This is him. So, real quick, taking a look at the packaging, as you can tell, this is a carded example. I have another one. You know, I'm a filthy army builder, so I do have multiple of these, but I do have one still on card here, which I'll be showing you. So first off, we have the Return of the Jedi trades done up there, emulating the old Kenner style, as well as Imperial Gunner on a nice yellow background. We have a nice image of the Imperial Gunner from the film. A weird inconsistency here, just because I've been getting into Star Wars cosplay recently. I can tell that this is a Death Star Navy Trooper, like black jumpsuit, whereas the figure is actually wearing a black jacket with, I think, another jumpsuit underneath, which is strange to me. The figure doesn't really match the art, but it's not that big of a deal. I think it might have something to do with the actual original version of the Imperial Gunner, which was a Final 17 figure from the original Kenner Vintage line. Of course, down at the bottom we do have the Kenner trades, as well as on the back we have the other figures being released in the wave. We have the other Walmart exclusives, such as R2, who I will review at some point. The Bespin security guard, this guy himself, the Imperial Stormtrooper, which we all know my feelings about this figure on this channel, and then the other Bespin security guard. Legal jargon down here that no one gives a crap about. More legal jargon, Hasbro trades, and that's about it. I said in every single review, you really only care about the packaging if you are a carded collector, of which I am not. I'm here to open and review toys, and that's what I'm going to do. So, freeze frame. Freeze frame on freeze, and here is the figure itself. Real quick, before we take a look at the figure, let's take a look at his accessory. That being a DH-17 blaster pistol, which some of you may recognize from Star Wars Battlefront. I'll move the camera in a little bit more so you can actually see what the hell is going on. It is picked out in two colors. It has a silver barrel, as well as the ejection port on the side here is picked out in silver, and a part of the scope is nice in silver. A lot of nice sculpted detail. I don't know if this is a new mold for the DH-17. I think it's the same one that came with the Rebel Navy Fleet Troopers. I'm not quite sure about that one, though. On the other side here, more nice molded detail. And of course, the Imperial Gunner can hold this weapon, so he can hold that right there. He holds it pretty well. He can only hold it in one hand. He doesn't have a trigger finger in his left hand, only on his right. Unfortunately, though, there is no holster or anything to actually put this pistol. You can't actually store it on the character, so he'll just have to, you know, carry it either in his hand or, you know, near him when he's Death Star gunning. But that's that. Now moving on to the figure itself. It is nice and detailed. I have some mixed opinions about this figure. Personally, I think it looks great, but its functionality is not all that there for me. The helmet is beautiful, though, I will say that much for sure. It has the nice Imperial cog done up in silver on the top there, and there's even a little bit of dust on this figure, which is not so great for the review. But he does have that iconic Death Star Gunner or Imperial Gunner helmet, which is very funny looking. He has a antenna, which is picked out in silver, red, and blue light that is attached to that box. This is made out of a really soft plastic, so you don't really have to worry about bending it all or breaking it all that much. However, you do have to worry about it warping. It came warped out of the package, and from what I've seen, every single other one that I have has come warped out of the package, so you might want to heat up some water if you want to straighten this, boil the water, stick it in for like 3 seconds, and then pull it out, and it'll be straight, or just straighten it with a hairdryer. Any of those methods work. On the body, he has a nice black flak jacket, which is done in that same rubber material. It's very soft, and you can see, actually, if you were to boil and pop this, you could actually take it off. He has these straps, which keep it attached to his body on both sides, so you could just pop off an arm, and then pop off the head, and then slide this off if you really wanted to. underneath it, it's actually kind of more of a Darth Vader-ish style body, kind of like that ribbed leather. So not quite as accurate to the packaging, like I said, or other Death Star Gunner kits that I've seen. But this is, you know, I guess accurate to the lore, perhaps, because these guys work in open spaceports. So you need at least some sort of insulated suit to operate. On the side of his arm, he does have that nice Imperial cog, again, done up in silver, and those big Imperial gauntlet gloves, which I've seen many an Imperial unit use before. On his belt, he has a standard Imperial belt with some belt boxes. Nothing too crazy going on there. He does have just a regular pair of trousers and some calf-high boots. Don't know exactly what model boots these are, but, you know, they're black, and that's all that really matters. As for the articulation of this guy, he does have an amazing range of motion at the head. As you can tell, he does have a very, very loose ball joint there. So you can get the and also the so you can it's all over the place. That is, of course, a dumbbell joint. At the shoulder, he does have a hinge joint, so you can get an outward motion like that, as well as a full 360 range of motion, which is a little hindered by the rubber of the flak jacket, but it's not too bad. He does have a very nice, deep, single hinge elbow joint, which is pretty all right. A swivel at the wrist, as well as an in and out joint at this wrist, so you can go that far in and that far out. And at the other wrist, you do have an up and down joint, which is preferable for making the posing of blasters far simpler. The waist, he does have a ball joint, which is very nice. Nothing at the waist proper, though, no swivel or anything. At the hips, though, I thought that he'd have ball joints, but he actually doesn't. He does have those two-piece hinge joints at the hips, which is not the greatest. And mind the angle here. You do have to rotate them around and rotate the thigh if you want to get even a semblance of outward motion. And even then, it's not the greatest in the world. So I just choose not to do anything about that. Which sucks, because this guy is supposed to be sitting down at a anti-aircraft station, and if he can't really sit, he can't really perform his main duty, which sucks in my eyes. And like I said, he does have a swivel at the upper thigh, as well as a pretty okay hinge at the knee, only about 90 degrees, and an up and down at the ankle. No ankle pivot, which is disappointing to say the least. That's pretty much it for the articulation of this figure. However, let's move on to the size comparison. We'll see how he fares up with some other figures. So, freeze frame.
Asuka, I got drip.
No, you don't, Baka.
Freeze frame on freeze, and here is the Imperial Gunner next to a custom 3¾ Mandalorian figure. Here he is next to the golden standard of action figures himself, who I have since customized more to my liking, the Dark Times Darth Vader. And of course these are standing on bases. And here he is next to a more common figure, the Star Wars The Vintage Collection Mandalorian Din Djarin. That's how they stack up. And remember, I do keep these guys on bases if you really want the extended size comparison. Here he is. You know, that's how he stacks up next to a figure on a base. So that's that. Now that we've seen how this figure stacks up to some other figures, let's get to the final thoughts, and I'll tell you exactly what I think about this figure. Freeze frame.
Some people think they can outsmart me. Maybe. I've yet to meet one that can outsmart bullet.
Freeze frame on freeze. So overall, this figure's okay. I don't hate it. I like the way it looks a lot. I think it looks fantastic, and it'll definitely fit into any Imperial display that you choose to make. However, the Imperial Gunner just kind of misses a mark for me. I've said it in a few of my previous reviews, especially the ones of the Mandalorian figures, and I say Mandalorian not meaning the show, Mandalorian meaning like, you know, T-visor, blaster pistols, all that stuff, that there is a expectation now with the new ball-jointed hips and the new ankle pivots on most figures that these figures should at least be downscaled Black Series figures. And this one just kind of misses the mark in that regard. From the waist up, he's fantastic. I think he's absolutely what we need in every vintage collection figure. However, the lack of ball-jointed hips and the lack of ankle pivot really prevents me from thinking that this figure is absolutely fantastic and or the definitive army builder for Imperials forever and ever and ever and ever. He's just okay. He looks great. He feels great. But the execution is not quite there for me. Anyway, my friends, if you like the Imperial Gunner, if you like the Empire, if you like Star Wars The Vintage Collection, or if you like Star Wars in general, make sure you share this video with all your friends, share with your Facebook groups, all that good stuff. If you like the content, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe down below. It really helps me keep making these videos, keeps helping the channel grow. That's going to be pretty much it for this review, my friends. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, peace.